Okay. anyone give a read on the sutta that we're gonna talk today? What's the name of the sutta we're gonna talk about today? Manoniva Sutta. Manoniva Sutta. What is Mano? Is it the mind or minds? In English, there is the mind. But in the Buddhist teachings, there are a lot of minds. But we have to find out what they are and how. It is said that there are many minds. Mano nivarana. So the other word that comes with mano is nivarana. What is nivarana? So varana is to prevent. Now when you see in the media, they do a lot of censoring, right? There's a lot of censorship going on about the news that should not be going to people, right? So when this word called varana is used with ni at the before varana, the meaning gets a little different, because in the language we have things called what do you call them? Upasarga, right? How do you call them in English? Prefixes? Yeah, prefixes. So prefixes mean that when some letters are used before some words, because of those letters, the meaning could get changed, or the meaning could get beautified, the meaning could get increased, right? Now when you say nada, right? It's what is nada in singular? Nada means it's a sound, right? But when you say ninnada, the sound is going to a certain place, right? Ninnada, right? In the same way, we have a lot of other examples, especially in the Pali language. The meaning could get changed at any time with the use of prefixes. So when the word varana is used with ni, that means this prevention is done to a specific certain place, right? But the translation which was given by both Bhikkhu Sujata and Bhikkhu Bodhi in the link that you all may have took a look, has a different translation, meaning reigning in the mind. I mean, when you say reigning, I guess it's about controlling your mind more carefully. But in the word nivarana, there is no direct controlling. Actually, it's about how you can prevent. Like prevention and controlling, they are two different ideas, right? Anyway, so what we're going to talk about is how to prevent our mind from polluted thoughts, or how we can let our mind take the right thought. Okay, so in this sutta, one deity, as we know in the other suttas, one deity appears, and the deity recites a stanza as a question. Okay, I will read the Pali stanza, because reading the Pali stanza and understanding the Pali is very important. Otherwise, people may translate differently, right, in their own way. Yato mano nivaraye na dukkha meti nang tatu sa sabbato mano nivaraye sa sabbato dukkha pamucchati. Okay, the meaning, from whatever one reigns in the mind or prevents, from that no suffering comes to one. Now the deity suggests the Buddha, one has to prevent from all the thoughts. Now without identifying, the thoughts could be good and bad, or right or wrong, wholesome or unwholesome. And should one rein in the mind from everything, should one prevent mind from taking thoughts from everything, one is freed from all suffering, all unnecessary problems. Okay, that's what Deva says. Now, like in our normal life, some people say, in their lives, with regard to distractions, sometimes they're going to overdo, they're going to be too careful about distractions, right? Overly careful, right? Sometimes they say, can you please take that food away, otherwise I'm going to eat it, right? Now Buddha's advice is that you're going to look at the food, you're going to be consciously prevent eating that stuff. Now that you're letting that going away from you, right? So Buddha asks us to consciously look at the distractions. I know there are people, they do not look at the distraction consciously, and they think, okay, for example, I'm not going to eat XYZ food, right? But this idea comes up in his or her mind without being conscious, and then what happens after a few days, that person thinks, okay, I didn't eat this food for 5, 6, 7 a week of time, so I'm going to compensate for the food that I did not take. So this consciousness, this mindfulness is very important, because you are not doing that because you are consciously understanding what you are doing, right? So that's very important. So the deity says to the Buddha, one needs to prevent one's mind from all the thoughts, right? Maybe for the safer side. And that is how one leads oneself to liberation or nirvana. Now, what does Buddha say? Na sabbato mano nivaraye mano yatatta magata yato cha papakang tato mano nivarayeti. Buddha has a very inclusive understanding about this point, this topic. One need not prevent one's mind from everything. When the mind has come under control or under care, from whatever it is that evil comes from, this one should prevent in the mind. Now, when you know for sure that your mind is taking good thoughts, then you don't need to prevent your mind to stay with those thoughts. So it's pretty easy. Now, with this topic, we are coming to a point to discuss the main words about the mind. Now, in the Buddhist teachings, we have 3 main words we use for mind. What are they? Now, in English, we know we have this thing called the mind, thought, consciousness. But they are to be used in their respective context. What are the words that do we use in the Buddhist teachings for mind? Mano is one word. Now, we saw that word in here in this sutta, Manoniva Sutta. What are the other main words? Chitta and also Vinyana. Mano, Chitta and Vinyana. Now, the most important thing is that Mano is being used to talk about the whole process of the mind. It could be a thought, it could be a consciousness, but when you say Mano, that covers everything, almost everything of the mind in the Buddhist teachings. It could be your mind that you have now. It could be your past karma that we identify with Vijnana, right? So Mano is a word that covers everything with regard to mind. But what is Chitta? Now, in the suttas, in the teachings of the Buddha, we find Buddha doesn't refer to mind when someone is having an issue with raga, lust, or desires, or hatred, or delusion, all the time what we can see is that that person is struggling with a thought of lust, thought of desire, or thought of hatred, or thought of ignorance, right? So that means chitta is something that we talk about specifically the context of what the mind is having, right? So chitta has a specific context. That's why Buddha says we are struggling with the chittas. You can't say you are struggling with your mind. You are struggling with different chittas. Now that's why in the Abhidhamma, one of the high teachings of the Buddha that we see in the Tripitaka, we can see that the Abhidhammic explanations, those high teachings explain to us, there are how many thoughts? There are 121, as well as 89 basic thoughts, and then it is also extended to 121. But they were, they were more likely explanations from basic analysis of the thoughts. And also Abhidhammic books talk about another section of the thought, which is called Chaitasika. We call them in Sinhala Chaitasika. So what's the difference between a chitta and a Chaitasika? Now you can see the same word in Chaitasika, right? So there is no big difference. But when you looking into the chittas, you can see if there is a thought with lust or desire, raga, if there's a thought with dosa or hatred, if there's a thought with ignorance or moha, then what happens? We can look into the context of that chitta, then you can see that chitta has Chaitasika inside of it, right? So how many Chaitasikas are there in the Buddhist teachings? In the Abhidhammic teachings? 52. Akusala Chaitasikas, that means unwholesome mental factors, and ahetuka, right? There are ahetuka Chaitasikas. They don't have a root, like rootless Chaitasikas, mental factors, as well as Sobhana Chaitasikas. Now, so the word called Sobhana, he has the name called Sobhana as well, right? Beautifying. But Sobhana means the good thoughts, good mental factors. They are the ones that we need to cultivate in us. There are 52, wholesome mental factors. Now, the reason why I was trying to break up this chitta and Chaitasika is to tell you that you don't need to separate out chitta from Chaitasika, but in the analysis, they have separated them out to give you a full understanding. Because chittas and Chaitasikas have no big difference. That's why Abhidhammic explanations say chittas and Chaitasikas are pretty much the same at 4 points. What are those 4 points? They take the same object. Ekalambana. Let's say whenever chitta takes a thought of desire, Chaitasika also takes the same thing. That means Chaitasika speeds up. Chaitasika projects. Chaitasika proliferates the thought. Whenever you take a thought, same object of that thought is proliferated by a Chaitasika, unwholesome, rootless. And ekupattika, chittas and Chaitasikas, they arise together. They don't arise at different times. They arise simultaneously. Say you take a thought of a desire, and then the Chaitasika also follows at the same time. And then ekupattika, ekalambana, and then ekanirodha, right? So whenever a thought is going to perish away, at the same time the same Chaitasika also perishes away, right? So I think ekupattika, ekalambana, ekanirodha, there was one thing that we left in the discussion. Anyway, there are 4 things actually. So there are 4 things. So the main thing that we have to understand is that chittas and chaitasikas, they work together. So don't take them very separately, but in the Abhidhammic explanations, they have been separated to give a full understanding. Now, we can connect that knowledge. So, mind is the bigger concept, which has thought, consciousness, and this life mind. And chittas mean all the wholesome, unwholesome thoughts that we have. So, when you say you are struggling with anger, with jealousy, or whatever, they all come under chittas. Okay? And then what is Vinyan? What is Vinyan? It's also a very, broader concept. Now, I think I was actually explaining to all of you about different types of Vinyanas a few weeks ago, right? In the Yogacara philosophy. But we know in the Buddhist teachings, we have already understood few Vinyanas. We already know in the Madhupindika Sutta, in the Majjhima Nikaya, there are sense-based consciousnesses happen. Let's say with your normal senses, your piece of eyes, piece of ears, nose, tongue, body and mind, with the objects of those senses. Let's say when you have your piece of eyes, because I call them piece of eyes, you have two eyes, right? Piece of eyes takes an image, and then what happens? Immediately there is a contact happens at the same time. Let's say I look at that window, the window is the image because of the amalgamation of my piece of eyes and the object called the window, and there is this contact happens, right? The contact could be a pleasurable or unpleasant, pleasant feeling or neutral feeling. And immediately what happens with this amalgamation is that there arises eye consciousness, right? In the same way, a piece of ears, when it takes a sound, and then what happens? There arises with contact. There arises ear consciousness, right? So this is one of the consciousness types, but there are other consciousness types too. Now, for example, in the Abhidhamma, we know we all have a consciousness that comes from the previous lives, from the samsara. Bhavanga Chitta, or some people call Bhavanga Vijnana. But we take it loosely. The thing is, now when you go into Abhidhamma, when you specifically look at how a thought process happens, Chittaviti, how a Chittaviti happens. Like Buddha says, whenever you take a thought, it has to go through a process of 17 moments in the Abhidhamma. So the first 3 moments, Atita Bhavanga, Atita Chalana, Atita Upachcheda, they are the first 3 moments of the process. That means, let's say, now, suppose there's a teacher here. There's a teacher. Let's say we are in a classroom. The teacher gives us an essay. Let's say a topic. I always say a normal topic. Disruptive students should be taught together, agree and disagree, or disagree. Or agree and disagree. So we all write the essay really good from our own experiences. We sometimes agree, we sometimes not agree, disagree. And at the end, we are trying to give a full analysis about the situation. Let's say we all write the essay really good. We all getting the same mark. But if someone is looking at the individual essays, that analyst can really see the approach, how we have described the essay or the facts could be really different. The thing behind this difference is that we always take thoughts through this process, and the process has influence from the Bhavanga Vijnana. That's the thing. So but this is a very fast process, right? When you, let's say, I take a thought about something, then that millisecond, that nanosecond has this whole process. So the thing I was trying to tell you is that Bhavanga Vijnana. So there are this kind of consciousness types in basic Buddhist teachings. But in one of the Buddhist schools called Yogacara, they were kind of a later type of school, but they have explained the Vijnana in a better way. They say there are 8 types of Vijnanas, including Bhavanga Vijnana, as well as the 6 main Vijnanas, consciousness types we know. Okay, now what are the Vijnanas they talk about? They talk about the first Vijnana, eye consciousness, and ear consciousness, nose consciousness, and then tongue consciousness, body consciousness, and mind consciousness. So mind also has a consciousness, right? But this mind consciousness relates to this life mind, right? Not that whole big concept of mind. And then the 7th one is called Anumiti Vijnana, consciousness on inference. Now we guessed about things, right? Based on our experiences. Let's say we are watching on someone, and then you're gonna say, okay, this person did that thing that day, so he's gonna do the same, she's gonna do the same thing. Inference. And the last one is called Ale Vijnana. Ale Vijnana. What is it? Ale means the place. Ale Vijnana means Bhavanga Vijnana. That means the base consciousness. That means that is what traverses when you die in the Buddhist teachings. Let's say when you die, you are continuing without an identity. But now someone can argue, because we have this Ali Vijnana, things are eternal, so I am destined. No, because the contents inside of the Ali Vijnana is always arising, getting maintained and changing. Let's say I'm really a good person, but at the moment of my death, I'm getting really stressed out. I'm really getting pissed off, and then I'm heading into a bad place. So if my Bhavanga Vijnana is linear, very straight, then I have no problem. I have peace of mind where I'm going. But it's not happening that way. That's why Buddha says you can't say your Bhavanga Vijnana is pretty much protected and you can be happy about next. No, because things can happen because of a change of every second or a nanosecond, millisecond. So anyway, there are 8 types of Vijnanas that we know. Now, you know Mano, Chitta and Vijnana. But basically what you have to understand is Chittas are the things that you are struggling. When you say you have a distraction, yes, they come from a thought or a Chitta. Now, I'm going to wrap this up, this talk with few stanzas taken from Dhammapada. Now, all of you may have read Dhammapada, right? Dhammapada was a constructed, compiled book by monks. But in the Dhammapada, there are different, very interesting chapters. I think the 3rd chapter, right? The 3rd chapter is about the Chitta. Now, the first stanza of the Dhammapada, the 3rd chapter of Dhammapada, goes like this. Pandanam chapalam chittam durakkam dunnivarayam. So, I mean, those are the first two lines of that stanza. They are the most important ones here. Pandanam chapalam chitta. So, our thoughts are restless and always agitated. Natural thoughts that we have, we don't take them, but they are naturally happening all the time. They are mostly restless and agitated. And durakkam dunnivarayam, naturally they are hard to protect. That means does that mean that you need to be abnormal to protect your mind, your thoughts? No, you don't need to be abnormal to take care of your thoughts. Dunnivarayam, hard to control. Actually, when you take a look at your thoughts without pushing your thoughts into something, without giving you too much trouble, you can see all our thoughts are restless and agitated. We are agitated now. When you say thoughts are agitated, you are agitated and you are restless, right? Because these thoughts are hard to protect and then hard to control. That's one of the teachings of Buddha. And also in one other stanza, Buddha says, Sudut dasang sunipunang yatta kama nipatina chittang rakheta medhavi chittang guttang sukava. Sudut dasang, chittas are hard to see. Actually, they are hard to see because you don't try looking at them. You don't try figuring out them. That's why they are hard to see. And also they are very subtle. They are very subtle. They are not, hard. They are very subtle. Yatta kama nipatina, they are alighting where they wish. They are alighting. They go to objects, thoughts, things where they wish. So the wise person protects, not control. The wise person protects these thoughts. Now, this word called rakhet, rakha is a better term for what you need to do with mind or thoughts. So rakha means you're going to protect your thoughts. Actually, you need to protect yourself. That means you need to protect your thoughts. Because chittang guttang sukhavang, the watch mind always bring happiness. When you watch your mind, it always brings you happiness. Now in the breath meditation also, what we say, do not take exaggerated breaths. Why? Because you don't watch your mind. You don't watch your breath now. When you don't watch your breaths, you don't watch your mind, right? So watching the mind is the important thing, right? And you also know this stanza, Durangamang ekacharang asarirang guhasayang ye chittang sanyamesanti mokhanti marabandhana. So the thoughts can go to faraway destinations. You never thought, right? they can go to faraway destinations. They are far-ranging. Ekacharang, even we say to people, you need to take some time. Actually, our thoughts are always solitary. Because we are struggling on our own, right? You might say that you have a family, you have children, but actually you are struggling this thing with being solitary. Asarirang, and the nice thing is chittas don't have a body, right? Whenever you think that there is a body about something that you are taking care of, then you can work on it. But chittas don't have a body. That's pretty dangerous, right? When there is something that is really disturbing you, has no corporeal or physical base, then it's really hard to work on, right? And guhasaya is really hidden. It's really hidden. Ye chittang sanyamesanti mokhanti marabandhana. So if someone can restrain these thoughts, that person will be freed from Mara. Now we again come to talk about Mara. One day also we talk about Mara. Who is Mara? Mara is a person in the Buddhist teachings. Now in the Christianity people call Satan someone about evil, right? But Mara is closely taken as evil, but the Satan. But the thing is, the Mara concept in the Buddhist teachings mean when someone succumb, when someone more vulnerable to the pleasures, and the teachings say that person is already targeted by the Mara. So then, if you are not that vulnerable, or if you are working on how to get rid of Maras, or unidentified Mara, or identified Mara, then you are really good. Otherwise, you can't run away from the Mara. Another nice word like rakha in the previous stanza is sanyamesanti. How we can calm down the thoughts. We need to calm down. Thoughts can happen. I think thoughts have energies. You can't destroy energies. If you are a scientist, you can't destroy energy. What can happen with energy means you can transform energy into a different thing. Energies don't perish away. So when you have hatred, you're going to transform it to loving kindness. When you have ignorance, you're going to transform your ignorance into wisdom. So that is how it works. So anyway, you're gonna calm down your thoughts. In the previous stanza, we talk about protecting. I think in the process of the protection, what you have to do is you need to calm down. That is one part of the protection. One last two stanzas in short. The two last stanzas of the chapter of mind, or chittas actually, especially chittas. You don't need to get confused. Chittas. Buddha talks about what an ill-directed mind can do to you, what a well-directed mind give to you. Okay, now Buddha gives an example. Diso disang yantang kaira veri vapana verina michcha panihitang chittan papiyonang tatokare. Whatever an enemy may do to an enemy, I mean, it's going to be a very strategic planning, right? When an enemy is going to do a thing to another enemy, that enemy has to be really strategic. O haters one to others, far worse is the harm. Right? Let's say bad people do bad things to another set of bad people. I mean, the damage is actually far worse. So is the ill-directed mind to you. When you have your mind which is ill-directed by yourself, that mind, or I mean the chittas, will give you a really hard time to recover. You won't be able to recover soon because your mind is already ill-directed. Who has ill-directed your mind? It's you. That's why Buddha says identify yourself, identify your thoughts, and then try to protect your thoughts. On the other hand, Buddha talks about the good side. When you well direct your mind. Natam mata pita kaira anye va pichanyataka samma panihitang chittang sayasonang tatokare. Neither mother, nor father, nor any other relative can do one as much good as one's own well-directed mind. When you know by yourself, I mean, when we spend time with our families, especially when you start your life as a kid, as a youngster, young adult, your parents are there, right? And now you have become parents, and you are guiding your children, and you were guided by your parents. It's really good. It's a must. But at a certain point of your life, if you look back and if you look ahead, when you think about the well-directed mind about yourself, the decisions you make, decisions you're gonna make in the future, in terms of planning, if you think that your thoughts are pretty much based on kusalas, wholesome thoughts, the happiness, the benefit that you would be benefited from those wholesome thoughts would not be achieved by whatever the things that you gain from your parents or relatives. That does not underscore your parents, that does not underscore your relatives, but when you look at the difference between what the well-directed mind can give to you, what your parents can give to you, and there is a difference. We want the both actually, but there is a clear difference, clear distinction. So what I am telling you is that we need, now what Buddha said in the main sutta is that, Manoniva Sutta, is that you don't need to prevent your mind from wholesome thoughts, right? Let the wholesome thoughts happen in your mind, no problem, right? But deity said no, you need to prevent your mind from all the thoughts. I think it is too overly careful about the thought. That's what Buddha said. And we talked about mano, the main terms that the Buddhist teachings use for mind. We call them mano, chitta, and vinyanas. So that's what we talked about today. So you can ask any questions now if you have about this sutta or mind in general, or any other generic questions.
So
Buddha says is that uh, allow good thoughts happen in you, allow good things happen in your mind. But naturally, all the things happen. Way before you can filter out. So when bad thoughts happen in you, immediately what you're gonna do is that you're gonna filter them out and then let go of the bad stuff. But that's what Buddha said. But the deity said you need to prevent your thoughts from all the bad things and all the good things. So, that's the point. Buddha said we should not need to take that kind of initiative. What we want to do is that let them happen in you, but you're going to sort them out, and then you know what to encourage, what not to encourage in you, right? Because naturally we are struggling with unwholesome stuff, right? That is natural. But when you are taking an initiative about yourself, about the protection of your thoughts and mind, then what you can do is that when you can sort out, you can let go the bad stuff and improve, allow yourself to be with the good stuff.
Is it normally a problem, a difficult task to let go of bad thoughts? Because I find that if there's a distraction or something I can look at or something like that, then I can let go of the bad thought if I think of something else. But if I have nothing else to think about, then I can't let go of the bad thought because it will just dwell there.
Okay, when you talk about the methodology of how to let go, it's a different topic. And there are suttas like Vatupma Sutta, Sabbasava Sutta. There are different suttas about how we can let go. So that's one of the ways we can do, substituting the bad thought, substituting a good thought, for the bad thought.
Yeah.
But as you said, that's not always possible. And then we're gonna use the other techniques as well. So you may substitute, or you may see the repercussions of the bad thought if you're going to encourage, or you are pretty much trying to understand what is it like, what is the distraction like. So there are different approaches to let go. There is not only one way to let go. So that's a different topic, but it's always nice to talk about such things too.
Okay.
Yeah, so you can use one or the other. It depends on what kind of distraction, how it happens, the time, right? So it involves a lot of things. We can't say there's a standalone. There is only one approach to let go in the Buddhist teachings. It always depends.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other questions?
But also the thought process, the whole thought process is also highly influenced by the past.
Usually, now when you take, let's say, I want to take a thought of this rug, then because I'm in this life, right? I'm here right now. I can see the rug. But the moment I decide that I want to take a look, that I want to be conscious of this rug, then that that energy, whatever that signal or that thing, connects with the 17 moments of the process. So the first 3 moments are related to your past. That means that original thought has to go through your bhavanga vijnana, right? So that's the thing. So that means when it is going through the first 3 moments, then whatever the things that are involved with about the certain thing that I'm going to take a thought is going to influence the original thought, right? That's why we talked about one monk, like Pirindi Vachi, right? And then he, because he was born into Brahmins caste, many lives, he had a custom of calling people as outcast. he doesn't know that it is bad. He simply talks. He's an arahant because he's been very familiar with that way of calling people. And we know there are some very exceptional people. Some mathematicians, they were able to they were really able to do maths at a very young age. Sometimes they were scientists way before the normal age. What has made? They all have gone to the same school, all have gone to the same class. But what has made that distinction? That means they have not started studying the subject from this life. They have started studying the subject from many, many lives before. That's why I'm saying, do not try to figure out anyone's life from this life. Now, a lot of people, they want to think about, okay, this is what we're gonna do. We're only going to look at someone's, situation from this life. No, we've been coming from many, 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 infinite number of lives. So every time when you take a thought, mostly it has to go through these 17 moments, and the first 3 are related to the Bhavanga Vijnana, what you call Ale Vijnana. Okay. I hope that this is a very interesting discussion. If you really like continuing to understand about this thing, please look up on Google or the books 17 moments of a Chittaviti or Chittaviti, and you can you can find out more information about a Chittaviti and how Chittaviti contains the Bhavanga Vijnana. Okay. If there are no more questions, so we're going to wrap this up. So let's share all the good karmas with the departed relatives and the deities. May all the good karmas that we've been collecting so far be shared by all the departed relatives. May they be happy and peaceful. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idamme ñāti nang hotu sukita huntu ñātayo. Idamme ñāti nang hotu sukita huntu ñātayo. Idamme ñāti nang hotu sukita huntu ñātayo. Let's share all the good karmas with the deities who protect and bless all of us. May all the deities protect and bless all of you, monks and all of you and your friends, family members, parents and everybody. For good health, long life and all the prosperity. May all the deities also be happy and peaceful. May they also attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampatti sindhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti sindhya. Ittavata cha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti sindhya. Akasatta cha bummatta deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu loka sasanang. Akasatta cha bummatta deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu desana. Akasatta cha bummatta deva naga mahiddhika punyantang anumoditva chirang rakkantu mang paranti. Finally, let's make a great wish. May all the good karmas we've been collecting so far help all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Now monks will be reciting, chanting a few stanzas to bless all of you. Abhivadana silissa niccang vaddhapachayino chattaro dhamma vaddanti ayuvanno sukhang balang ayurarogya sampatti sagga sampatti mevacha ato nibbana sampatti iminate samiccatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. let's bow down 3 times to Buddha as a respect for the teachings.